Hey, this is Bryce Johnson from Expedition Bigfoot. You're listening to the Paranomaly Zone.
Look, I know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen. It does happen.
A ghostly apparition in the dark of night.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Hey there, fellow zoners and paranormal ponderers. You are in the Paranomaly Zone, your weekly dose of all things, you guessed it, paranormal, strange, and mysterious. My name is Patrick Koffenberg, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host with the ghosts, the quickly wasting away Michael Carbno, but in a good way.
Do I look thinner?
I think so.
Right,
I think so. Yeah, you're concerned about your throat jowls. Or whatever.
Yeah, I go right for that, don't I?
he's pinching his dangly there.
And then it's like I find myself saying like, well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like Reagan,
Ronnie Reagan, throat neck.
Now, would those be
turkey gullet or whatever you want to call it?
I think it's a goiter. I think that's
a goiter. You can have them lanced, can't you?
Yeah, I think so. We've talked about this before in a couple episodes ago, so we won't repeat ourselves. But when I said jowls, it didn't sound right to me. So I don't know. Something that's Mike's loose hanging flesh. We'll just leave it at that. So, but I can't. No, but Mike, you do look good. You're losing weight, and we just need your pain to go away to make it all a perfect combination. Mike is so happy that he just knocked over his microphone.
My microphone just got bent carrot syndrome, I think.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Can you still hear me?
The podcasting gods are messing with us already, Mike, but we're gonna persevere here. Mike's now doing his best Gene Rayburn impersonation.
I need a longer handle.
I was going to say you need the extremely long, thin handle. You need like the Bob Barker microphone that looks like something that you probe people with. Oh man. Well, we'll get through this.
You can use them like a whip.
Oh, ow!
Anyway,
no, thank you, But we're going to make this.
I hope I'm coming across okay now.
No, you don't sound bad. You don't sound bad at all. Yeah, Mike's holding his microphone and. Looks good. Nope, don't cough. Nope. All right, but we are here. This is another return to our terminal series. Yeah, we love doing those. They're a little bit more laid back, if you can believe that. Kind of a
swears more on terminal.
Well,
episodes.
we can. It's one of those. It's a sub-series if you're not familiar, if you're tuning in for the first time. And believe it or not, we do get new listeners all the time. So hello to each and every one of you.
And a pencil, if I can write this down, because I don't remember these things. So go ahead.
Okay, fine.
I'm
but
kidding.
You can't write because you're holding your damn microphone right now. So
yeah, my right arm doesn't work anyway, so I'm good.
That's true. Okay, so if you're wondering what the terminal series or kind of sub-series is all about, it's basically where we tackle some wacky, weird, wild subject that we don't necessarily think would fit on the flagship episode. Maybe fit is the wrong word to use, but where we kind of dive into the essentials of a weird, wacky, wild story. Notice I didn't say facts, Mike, because we don't know if any of these are facts, and God forbid we state anything as facts because we get called out by
we have been chastised.
Experts out there in the
Don't be a Pedro.
ether. Yeah, exactly. And for those wondering, we were called out by a gentleman named Pedro who basically said we'd have no right to talk about any such things unless we did our own research, so we can never talk about space until we travel there, Mike. So good luck on that one.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but he was just kind of...
He was a dick.
kind of over the top and nasty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Or a
that's,
dick, however you want to put it.
so it's kind of a running joke. But yeah, we take these weird, wild, wacky topics, and we run with them. We state the essentials, and at the end of the show, we give our final yay or nay, no shades of gray, whether or not we believe this to be fact or pure fiction. There's no straddling the paranormal fence on this one. We got to give our answers. And as another long-running joke, our long-time listeners, ding, 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 make fun of me. Well, they don't make fun of me, but they
Sure they do.
They gleefully point out that I usually say nay, and Mike usually says yay. So,
Yeah.
But hey, good
It's
Lord.
not always easy, though. It's kind of a difficult thing to,
It is.
we have had ones that are easy to decide, but sometimes not so much.
Right, and today is no exception. We covered this in our own unique fashion way back in the Alternate Rail podcast days, but we're taking it on in the form of terminal, yes, and by terminal, we mean we are never tackling this subject again. This is our final take on giants of Earth, Mike. On Earth. Have they, do they, will they exist?
And have they ever?
That's what I said. That was the first thing I said. So thanks for
See that?
listening.
See, selective hearing.
They don't call him the best co-host with the ghosts for no reason. Folks.
Sometimes your first couple of words when you start saying something kind of filters out through my brain, and I have no idea.
Yeah, Mike has a Patrick filter
Why?
built in.
Yeah.
So it's just
I better adjust that up a little bit.
that was
Yeah,
like
go
the
ahead.
that was like the lamest, most fake laugh I've ever heard come from you. Now it should be pointed out that Mike, you are losing weight. You're a happy man, But as longtime listeners know, you've been going through a shit ton of health issues.
Not over yet.
So that's why his voice may seem a little. I don't want to say. I don't want to say weaker, but you're not coming across as the bombastic Carbno of yore.
That's true. That's
So,
true. That is very true.
But hey,
You just got to adjust with the day as it goes, and
sure,
hope
absolutely.
Hope that I'm just all jolly for this crap.
Wow,
No,
man,
I am jolly.
Holy cow!
Well, not as jolly as when I didn't look as jolly when I was heavier, but
Hey,
now I don't look as jolly, I should say.
speaking of when we looked jolly, how about our last YouTube exclusive episode
Yeah.
released last week? Yes, that's true, boys
That was
and girls. We are going to continue to do this on a more consistent basis. If you're wondering, you're like, hey, where the hell did the Paranormally Zone episode go last week? We didn't go anywhere. We just released an episode exclusively for YouTube. You can stare at our, I don't know how to describe our faces. Well, you can look at us if you want to, because we're doing it on video. It's YouTube. We're going to actually kind of finally come around to the medium that is YouTube visuals, not just audio. So we're going to do that more and more. We're going to do more and more exclusive YouTube episodes. So if you missed us last week, go find us on YouTube. We'd love to see you guys there. Help spread the word. Subscribe if you feel up to it. It was a good one, though. We talked about ghost photos, alleged infamous maybe ghost photos, and we shared them and discussed them, and it was a good time. So
it was a lot of fun, a lot of good discussion. Some all were very creepy, but you could break them down into that one's pretty much.
And I will say, without spoiling it, listener and friend of the podcast, Michael Blackthorn, his idea, his theory that popped into his noggin, referring to one of the creepy photos, was terrifying in itself.
was.
So thank you for
Impossible.
that. Very possible. That's what's terrifying about it.
Yes.
But thanks for listening. Hope you guys are enjoying the podcast as it is, and help spread the word. Follow us all over social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. LinkedIn, for God's sakes. We're all over the place. Tell your friends to give us a shot. Listen to us on your favorite podcast streaming service, which you're doing right now. So that was a pointless plug.
But
That's what
It's
I'm good
gotta
at,
be
though.
done.
I know. I'm good at that. Okay. Well, Mike, let's dive into it here. Giants on Earth. Now we're gonna reference a couple of articles here. You got those I texted you, right?
I did.
Now, when we first came up with this idea, the thought popped in my head to start it off with a very brief discussion we had with the one and only Chris Jericho when we had the honor of appearing on his podcast the first time 5 years ago already, Mike. That was 5.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't it though? 5
Today I was
years
actually
ago.
dusting off my autographed Fozzy CD and the Chris Jericho figure
Well, that's
that
cool.
I have.
Yeah, you can actually see them again. That was how much dust was
Yeah.
on it.
It gets dusty in here. Dog hair. Oof, everywhere. Anyway.
But one of the subjects that we talked about, we covered a bunch of them on our first appearance on Talk is Jericho. One of them we talked about was forbidden archaeology, and a lot of that involved kind of the hidden science, the forbidden science study of supposed giant human skeletons, relics of giants from the past. And after we got done recording, we kind of briefly talked about that again, but something that popped in my brain that Chris said right away when we were talking about the possibility of giants, existing, he's like, I work with giants,
He does.
Yeah, he has. I mean, there are 7 foot tall monsters in the professional wrestling, arena. And it's something that you can't just dismiss. It's like, yeah, that's true. Obviously, they are technically a giant, world famous, perhaps the most famous wrestling giant of all time, Andre the Giant, for God's sakes. Several nowadays that are still out there, and it's something to think about. And it was interesting that he took the time to point that out, I thought.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're not talking about professional wrestling giants. No, we're talking about actual, like, a race of giant beings, Mike.
Of biblical proportion.
Well, some of them literally mentioned very
Absolutely.
briefly in the Bible. The Nephilim, hello, the Nephilim.
Yes.
Goliath, my God.
Davy and Goliath. Too.
Oh, you call them Davy? Kind of like the monkeys?
Yeah, well, it was they had a great show on TV back a number of years.
And again, I love how you emphasize the T when you say TV. You always go, TV.
Dude,
You always do.
it's either, something Norwegian, something Canadian, or something bastardized from somewhere in my family lineage. I have no idea.
Honey, will you put on the TV?
I mean, why do I say tooken or things like that?
You just do
Besides
that to
just
it.
trying to irritate the hell out of you.
Thank you for making that clear.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been documented giants. Obviously, the tallest man who ever lived, Robert Wadlow, was 9 feet tall, for God's sakes, and still growing. He was only 22 years old when he when he passed away.
Tragic.
But individuals such as he, they suffered from acromegaly, gigantism, a disease,
Painful and debilitating.
deadly, fatal.
And deadly, of course, yeah.
So we're not necessarily Mills Darden, another one. Mills Darden. I wish there was more. I wish there was any photo of him out there, but there isn't. But this guy was rumored to be 7 foot tall and 8 inches and weighed damn near 1,000 pounds. This
Eesh.
gigantic man. He lived. He's documented.
His nickname was Refrigerator Perry.
Yes, it was. He was the forerunner to Mr. William Refrigerator Perry.
Senior.
Yeah, senior way down the line. But if you're interested in that, there is some information on Mills Darden out there. It's giant man. But a race of giant beings that have
And scattered
alleged to
throughout,
exist.
the planet, actually. I mean,
Mhm.
they reported everywhere are finding skeletons, even in Minnesota, North Dakota, Minnesota. Not far from where we live, there was a farmer that I can't remember. It was many, many years ago, but had found 2 skeletons that were supposed to be like 9 feet
Damn.
tall or something like that. But yeah,
And then there's photos out there, alleged photos. Again, maybe we'll talk about those on a YouTube episode in the future. The one that's popping in my brain right now, you see like that 10 foot tall, like mummified
yes,
creature, or whatever the hell it was. It supposedly is a human of some sort in the coffin that they have standing on its end. And 2 regular size humans are standing on each side.
had to be like 12 feet tall.
God, it was massive. And of course I've read stuff that it's a hoax. I've read stuff that it's real. I mean, I don't know. We weren't there when the photo was taken. Of course, I probably lean towards it being a hoax, but that's just
Well, a lot of things back then
Me.
at that time, showmanship and that, traveling shows were huge. And just imagine the things that that we do know of that were made up for these things that, so there's probably more fakery out there than there are actual skeletons found.
Oh yeah. 100%. 100%.
Doesn't mean that the real ones aren't there.
Now, the fossil record has proven that bipedal giants have existed in the form of a Gigantopithecus. Mike, that's indisputable. I mean, that's anthropological evidence.
They had molars the size of your head.
Damn near. Well, not this head, buddy. Not this head, brother.
Well,
Say
not
it.
your pinhead yet.
Say it. I'm waiting for your
No.
waiting for your orange on a toothpick.
No.
Okay.
I have nothing.
I prefer saying my head has its own solar system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I knew where you're getting to, but
I know. It's Patrick's feeling down. So just
yeah, I didn't want to encourage your disdain for yourself.
so okay, but you and I are believers, but another maybe potentially real connection to giants between giants and humans is the existence of Sasquatch, for gosh sakes. That's another debate between us and everybody who's interested in Sasquatch, whether or not they are purely biological and evolutionary, a missing link, so to speak, or if there's something else to them, alien related, interdimensional, spiritual.
So many theories that we've discussed.
Just for argument's sake, though, we'll say that they're purely a biological creature that has evolved, and changed on this earth just as we have,
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're giants, are they not? I mean, a lot of them have claimed to have been at
Absolutely.
least 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
More than likely related to us in some way. So, I mean, the point I'm getting at is that there is evidence and proof of such giants that are similar to us having existed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
But now, human giants, human-like creatures, like we mentioned the Nephilim earlier, those they don't fall under the aspect of purely human because those are like
Right.
divine. Well, not divine. They are creations between the mating habits of fallen angels and women of Earth. Right?
Yeah. So you got a little bit of good and a little bit of the bad, and
Yeah.
you kind of mix it all together and you get something that's kind of not too bad.
You'd be
You know what I mean?
Mike, you'd be an awful juror, You'd see the good in
Oh, God.
everybody somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. The one time that I had to go in there and sit there and the whole time hoping that I wasn't chosen.
Exactly it. I know.
Yep.
I know. Mike, I'm gonna I apologize everybody for sounding a bit disgruntled and disorganized here. Let's look at that article I sent you from Big T-Shirt, actually. BigT-shirt.com. They have a really, really interesting article here called Giants, the Biggest Cover-Up in History.
Yes.
This was published back in 2008, so maybe this was around the time that we spoke with Jericho. Well, it was actually, 2018. I'm just using it as a reference point. Oh, yeah, there's that photo I was talking about. The giant mummy from an old newspaper. It's like twice the height of these two gentlemen. Now, I'll just kind of peruse this and go back and forth. As it says here, for however many years, there have been references to giants existing, and it's existing. And it says, from the Bible, referring to a race of giants known as the Nephilim, who were said to have been killed by the Great Flood, to ancient cultures' beliefs that a race of giant godlike humans brought the knowledge of civilization back to the murky plains of prehistory. It seems that giants are everywhere in the ancient world. Now, these giant skeletons, there's a supposed real shot here, it says, taken in the 1970s of a purported giant human-like skeleton unearthed in Romania. Do you see that picture yet, Mike?
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't.
Oh, it's the one that's on his back with the knees up.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, knees up, maybe to make
Hands
it fit.
laying in his lap.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You have to hold your. You don't have to follow along, Mike, because you have to hold your microphone today. So that won't be
No,
very
I'm-
easy for you.
No, I got it.
Well, I'm telling you to not do it because you sound echoey right now.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
So, skeptics, cynics, however you want to call them, they all obviously the first question is, where are the skeletons? And supposedly some of these have been unearthed throughout the years, some 7 to 10 feet tall. I mean, newspaper clippings have reported giant skeletons being unearthed, discovered. This one right here, giant skeletons found, the article screams from the New York Times back in 1902. As archaeologists to send expedition to explore graveyards in New Mexico where giant bodies were unearthed. I mean, this was posted in the New York Times back in 1902. Not that depending on how you feel about newspapers,
Right.
and New York Times and all that stuff. I mean, these were headlines, Mike. Are they
Got
just
huge headlines?
Are they
that-
just merely like garbage headlines to sell papers? I mean, you have to consider that. Of course, you have to consider that. But I don't know. I'm scrolling. It says that there's very credible documented evidence that giant skeletons were found across America in the late 1800s. In New England, for example, skeletons unearthed in ancient burial mounds were measured at between 7 and 10 feet tall. Well-respected newspapers reported these findings at the time, which points to the credibility of their source. In fact, there are several documented findings of giant skeletons from all over America in the past, with most reports coming from the turn of the 19th century. There's also evidence that the bones of giants measuring over 2 meters in height were found in tombs across Sardinia. This was actually covered in an episode of TV's Forbidden History called The Mystery of Giants. Okay, let's stop there for a second, Michael. Let's just talk about it. You be honest. We're all about
Right.
honesty here.
Oh, I'm pure honest.
Pure headline grabbing nonsense to sell papers, or do you think perhaps legit reporting, or maybe a mixture of both?
I'd say a mixture of both. It's, yeah. Maybe a little more of one than the other. Which direction you want to go with that, I don't know. But
Man, Mike's doing his best political speaking today. He just
I
doesn't want to
know.
make a decision at all.
it's like I'm
Which is going to
practicing
make
for
it
something. I don't
great. It's going to make a great final yay or nay, no shades of gray, because Mike he's running for office in this episode, it appears.
know. I tell you,
I think Mike's distracted and befuddled by the fact that he has to hold his microphone.
well, it is, and I'm trying to use my, not to get into any of these ailments or anything, but my right arm is not very cooperative, so I got to kind of drag that across like thing sometimes across the table and grab my phone and bring it back, and because my hand works fine, but so
See, this article
guess I'm a little
actually,
distracted.
this article, poses a good question here. Was this just fanciful thinking by the esteemed scientists of the time? Hey, shocking, Mike. Science is not always right. It never has been. What I'm
Or
talking
never
about.
has been right.
Well, no,
that
not
what you're saying? I'm
always.
just
I'm saying, they're not infallible. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's come on.
I think some of them believe that they are, but
Oh, unfortunately, that is very true. God, Mike, you're making me uncomfortable. What? What are you doing? Do you need to lay down for this episode?
yeah, I'll hold my mic like a teddy bear or something.
You should train one of your 2 large dogs to mouth the mic. Kind of hang it. You can lay down and they can hang it above you. Do you think that would work?
Boy, that get pretty damn drippy on that.
That could add a little bit. Could add a little bit to the show. And that's right. Now Mike's having a coughing fit. Man, he's just having a blast. And by the way, we are going to record a Patreon episode immediately following this, so it'll be Patreon exclusive episode number 62. For God's sakes, we got tons and tons and tons of content over at the Patreon page. If you enjoy what you're listening to, you're weird, but thank you. I'm saying that in a great, respectful
Oh,
way. too.
absolutely.
Now, if you want to support the podcast, no better way to check us out over on the Paranormally Zone Patreon page. Again, all sorts of content. We're going to be adding more and more video content from, you got it, No, they don't got it because they have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm going to be traveling to Mr. Mike's area of haunted land next weekend. Actually, we're planning some more paranormal excursions. I'm looking forward to it, Mike. We're going to have all the equipment propped and ready to go, charged up properly. We're not going to reveal any details because, quite frankly, we need to finalize them ourselves.
Absolutely. But we do have some great ideas.
Great ideas, but more and more cool content is going to be added from those fun-filled hours next weekend, so that's going to be cool. But again, over 60 exclusive episodes. If you like what you listen to here, man, we got over 60 full-length Patreon exclusive episodes. We definitely let loose on Patreon. It's a great time. It's a blast. A lot of sub-series on that one, too. We need to get back to our commentary and breakdown episodes, Mike, where we focus on some paranormal programming and, we comment and we break them down.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And there, I won't bore everybody anymore, but we'd love to see it over at the Paranomaly Zone Patreon page. You can sign up for as little as $1 a month. No obligations. Okay, onward and upward. Giant humanoid bones have also said to have been found in other countries. In Romania, for example, there are numerous reports of ginormous human remains being unearthed as recently as the 1970s, including, listen to this, those reportedly up to a neck craning 16 feet in height.
Jeez.
That's a tall bugger.
Mm.
Some of those supposedly had leg bones, which were 6 feet in length alone.
Wow. Boy, you can go far on that on the grill. Sorry. Wow.
I'm kind of going back and forth. Should I share this? I mean, this is an interesting notion here when they talk about megalithic sites. About some of these just
That's amazing.
amazing constructions that have somehow come to be on this earth.
And this can be a whole episode on its own.
I know. That's why I was wondering if do we want to dive into that? I think what they're getting at is that there have been legends of giants helping to construct these phenomenal structures across the world. I mean, I don't know. I really don't.
Some weighing up to 200 tons. I mean,
Shit.
how is that done unless you're, I don't know, there could be like 50-foot tall giants that helped with that part. Who knows? And
Have you ever heard of the hollow earth theory, Mike?
Oh, absolutely.
That's another supposed source of these giant beings. Mike, are you okay?
Yes, I'm just trying to adjust my.
This might be the shortest terminal episode ever.
No, we're good. I just got to sit really still.
Do I need to
No,
ramble
good.
on incessantly
Nope.
with the Patreon
Nope.
plug again?
No, you're good.
This Mike looks so uncomfortable. He's trying to fight through this, and he keeps on moving. And oh man,
Well, when all you see is the top of my head.
yeah, no, exactly. I was trying to read
trying
what
to
was on the
itch my
back. Of
eyebrow. There's an itch on there, and I can't bring my arm up to do it. Ah, dang it!
It's like Mike's being tortured over there because he's forced to hold onto his microphone, and of course, every inch of his body starts to itch when he can't scratch it.
What else? What's next?
Oh.
I'm going to grow some massive horn out of the back of my head. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you made me snort kind of there. That was really
I
good.
heard that.
Yeah, that's really good quality podcast stuff there. And this is Terminal though. Terminal it's acceptable. Okay, if we were on the flagship, hell no.
Oh yeah,
I'd be
have
editing
I'd have
all
to
that.
Back out.
Yeah, which isn't true. I never edit this damn show. Which I think is an endearing quality of the
It is.
Paranomaly
It's
Zone.
something that I'm sure we're extremely remembered for.
Well,
one
you know,
way or another.
if you want to listen to a live show, I mean, we're not live. I mean, we do have plans of streaming YouTube episodes. You know, this is essentially as live as you can get without
Exactly.
being live because I
Right.
basically don't do any editing. I mean, I put the show together, I put the beginning and the ending, and, you know, if something is obviously awful, I'll edit it out and yada, yada,
Right.
yada. Obviously, there's a little bit of editing every now and then, but usually it's like, nope, good enough. And I publish it. So that's how it works. Well, Mike, you know what? I think we probably could just let's ramble on here as the Led Zeppelin song goes. Let's wrap it up.
I thought that was Boston that sang that song.
Okay, you're joking, right?
I'm kidding.
Oh, God damn it. I can't tell with your freaking poker face and poker voice, for God's sakes.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's gotten even worse now, I think.
So, Mike, if in your mind, before we give our final yay or nays here, in your mind, if giants have existed, I'm not even looking at you right now because I talk about being distracted. Okay. In your mind, if giants have existed on this earth at one point or another, or crazy as it may sound, still do exist, of what source would they be in your mind? Alien in nature, coming from the hollow earth theory. I mean, that's bizarre, whacked out, crazy stuff. That was a good throat gurgle. That was,
I know.
that was up there with my best ones.
Barbara Rigby.
Divine in nature, or again, as referenced in the Bible, kind of like the Nephilim story, the Nephilim legend, a subspecies, a species that broke off in the evolutionary line. Where do you lay? If you buy into this without revealing your final yay or nay.
Well, if these are real, I mean, anything is possible with that. I mean, and why can't it be a few of those happening? To me, actually, I don't buy the extraterrestrial thing or the, if there is an inner Earth or whatever, where there's civilizations where these could have come from. To me, that's a possibility. I believe there are just a species of humanoid beings that live on this planet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't think of anything, I don't know, paranormal or spectral about it. I mean, if you want to talk about the Nephilim and everything like that, I mean, that's going off in another direction where you can have all the paranormal and spectral, whatever you want. But I think these giants that we see these pictures of I think they're just ancestral Earth beings.
Do you ever happen across those? I mean, say what you will about them, but they look cool. But do you ever come across those short video clips of supposed giants captured on film? They're old, they're grainy, black and white, and there's like it looks like one's, I don't know, filmed from like in the Far East or something, and it's like this,
like the Japanese wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like a 20-foot tall sumo wrestler.
Yeah. Oh, at least 20 feet tall. He's walking down the street like a parade.
It was in a parade, yeah.
And both sides of the street just lined with just so many people.
I mean, it looks cool. I mean,
it's fantastic. I mean, it has that age to it where it's like you can't really, look at it closely enough to get any idea because of the graininess and the age and everything. But awesome picture. But I did read into some of the comments on that, and it was actually a video that I watched of that. It was actually like old film, and that was really interesting. But people were saying that that it was a movie that was made, a Japanese movie that was made many years ago, and things like that. But I did see very recently. I mean, this was just the other day, almost identical. That same old. Sepia tone, old antique film, whatever. But it was like a man. It looked like it could have been in any country, Caucasian country, whatever.
The train's coming through. Train's coming through. It's loaded with giants.
Yeah, but this guy just reminded me of like a big lumberjack or something. And it was like the same size as the Japanese.
I think I saw that
wrestler.
Same one. I think
had a big beard and everything, and
I think it said it was like the last of the race of giants or something, and they had like his name or something. I mean, again, the photo looks really cool, but it's you let your imagination go. It's like, wouldn't that be kind of neat if that was real, And,
absolutely.
No, you wonder
what if it was real?
Did that movie, did that info you read about that Japanese film Well, the giant sumo wrestler looking guy. Was that kind of like a forced perspective type effect from back in the day? Where
He's,
he probably maybe was a large person, or at least someone in some sort of costume, but from where the camera was set up,
Right.
the camera was angled, and everyone
I'm
else.
sure they used different techniques like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone else in front of them and in back of them were just, they're actually like 20 feet away from them, but the
Right.
way it was filmed made them look like they're right next to him type thing.
Right. And they probably did use things like that back then because, it looked like a film that would have came from like the silent film era.
Right.
So it has that much age on it.
Hey, if anyone is out there listening and they know what we're talking about and they know exactly the source of that film, I'd be interested. We'd both be interested. Let us know.
Absolutely. I'd love to learn more about it.
Yeah. Because they're just neat to watch and and think about and stuff.
And just even if even if in your mind it's not real, it's like just you have that moment to think, "Wow, what if that was real?
What if it was real? Exactly.
Ugh, yeah.
That's kind of neat. Mike, just because it's been kind of difficult for you to record this, this is going to be a fairly short terminal, but hopefully it's been a fairly entertaining one. It's time for yay or
It has
nay.
for me.
Yay or nay, no shades of gray, my friend. We have to give our final say, and we're never talking about this again. Well, we don't plan on it. So to all of our, again, longtime listeners, ding, 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 who have tired of me referencing demons and demonic possession, well, we're not going to talk about that anymore, specifically demons, because guess what? That was our last terminal episode, so I shall not bring it up again. And
Okay.
any number of other topics. So. I'm sure we can rigmarole
sure,
something, rigmarole? That's not the right word. We could rig some way to talk around it while still talking about it type thing. But as far as focusing on this, we're not going to. Got it?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
You want to
It
go first
must
or
be
me?
Shelved.
Do you have a coin on you? Should we flip a coin to see who goes
I
first
don't.
here? I don't either. God damn it. Okay.
Oh, I do. Hey.
All right. Flip it, Mike. I'll call it.
You shall call it.
Okay, I call heads.
Okay.
Flip it.
I'm going to let it drop on my desktop because I cannot catch it and
I know.
flip it around and drop my mic on the floor. Okay, here we go. Ready? You call heads?
I call heads, and if it's heads, go ahead.
A heavy coin.
Yeah, it is.
It is tails.
Tails. Shit. So you get to
You
choose.
got to trust me on that.
You got to choose me. Go for you. It's your choice. Then you go first or me.
Well, of course I'm going to choose you because it has to be done.
Okay.
I never get to hear your opinion first. Now I can
That's not
listen to
true.
you and
That's
kind
not-
of copy what you say. And
That's not true at all. I've gone.
No,
I've gone first.
I know. I'm
before.
just kidding.
I think I've gone first before. I guess I don't know. Okay. Yay or nay, no shades of gray. The idea of a race of giant human-like beings existing on this earth at one point or another. Do I believe it? Do I say it's a bunch of hooey? I gotta say hooey.
God,
I'm okay. I don't want to.
you don't want to believe in it. You don't want to believe in anything.
Well,
How does Bridget handle you every day?
um,
We don't want to bring that into it.
okay, yeah. I was like, where do
How
you
do
want
your
to go?
dogs handle this every day?
My dogs love me.
Yes, they do. So does Bridget. You know that.
But okay, Mike, there's no straddling the paranormal fence here. Okay, we have to say yay or nay. It doesn't mean that I'm totally against the possibility.
Right. Oh, yeah, I know
I
that.
feel like I have to say that every damn time I say nay after Mike's mini little hissy fits, and then I have to explain myself. Okay.
Well, you know that if this subject matter weren't giants, and if it was like we're trying to yay or nay on like Darth Vader or something,
Hey, be careful.
you know, how would that turn out?
Wow. Okay, how the hell are we supposed to yay or nay on Darth Vader?
Because you believe he's real. I'm just waiting for the yay coming from that.
Mike, that was between you and I. Now you've revealed it to the masses.
Well, you know, it's okay that you believe that Darth Vader is real. But one thing you got to get out of your mind and don't ever bring it up again is the fact that you think that Jar Jar Binks is a real creature. That's going too far.
What are you saying? Gungans aren't real?
Well, At least not Jar Jar Binks. Nothing
Okay.
talks like that.
All right, Mike, you and I need to discuss this further when I come and
Yeah.
visit.
Okay. So,
Damn it.
nay. You said nay,
By the way,
but now give us a.
hold on. And yes, I'm stalling a little bit here.
Yes.
I think we might have briefly talked about something along those lines
Mhm.
years ago when I threw out the hypothetical to you of like, let's imagine that, God forbid, human civilization on Earth as we know this is totally wiped out. The Earth is charred, it's gone, it's scorched, nothing left. But as life is, meant to be or meant to do, it somehow begins anew, right? The
Like
Earth.
the Phoenix.
The Earth is a sentient being and it's going to
Yes.
continue, and then life will thrive upon the Earth. But before that happens, let's say somehow the only thing that survives the Earth being scorched to damn near oblivion is like a Blu-ray disc of the Star Wars trilogy, okay? Just hypothetically, theoretically, however you want to say it.
I didn't know we were still on the Star Wars.
That's what my point
Okay.
is. So now think about an alien intelligence of some
Mhm.
sort
Right.
landing on the scorched, charred chunk of coal floating in the in never-ending space, and they come across the only piece of information, fossilized
that somehow
information, if you will,
survived this molten
somehow.
destruction.
Somehow. And they're like, what the hell is this thing? This is
It
the
was
only
Darth
thing
Vader's helmet, and it was safe.
This is the only thing that we found. This is obviously not natural of this chunk of coal. What is this? And they disseminate it. They decimate it. They don't decimate it. They interpret it. They're able to read it, watch
Back
it,
engineer it a little bit.
whatever they figure out what it is, and they go, "Oh my God, who the hell is this Darth Vader guy?"
Right.
And then
That's a great point.
and to them, that was a true thing that happened.
Exactly. I like that.
Okay,
Now,
thank you.
did you just make this up, or did you read this somewhere?
No, I thought I made it up a while ago.
Okay. No, I like it. It's that makes complete sense to me. It really does.
Oh, well, good.
I like it.
All right, stalling
You took
over.
forever to explain it, but
Well, yes, there is a point to that. It's called stalling. We gotta get to a time limit here.
okay. You did well.
Okay, yay or
You
nay?
did well, Padawan.
I already said, unfortunately, I have to say it's a bunch of hooey, hogwash, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. But I'm
But
not
why
saying
can't it be?
I'm totally
something
against
that-
the possibility. I'm not saying that. But for
Right.
me, I unfortunately, just like with the ghosts, Mike, I need to have
Right.
that proverbial
Right.
full body apparition. I need to get that slap in the face, so to speak.
Yep. I know.
Not saying I don't believe it, because I do. I believe in them. I do.
I know. Yeah, but it's still, you make no sense to me.
I need that discovery of that 15-foot tall skeleton. The remains, even if it's like you jokingly said, a molar the size of my head. What if they found a molar the size of my head?
Exactly. Well, they have those photographs where, there's some kind of a excavation that's going on in like Iran or somewhere, and it's this huge skeleton, and like the skull the size of a Volkswagen, and it shows a guy down there like he's got the brush and he's brushing it off, or a shovel or something.
Mhm.
Obviously, to me, obviously faked. I mean, they even looked superimposed at sometimes, but so there's so many fakes, but
And
don't
I
know.
kind of, as crazy as it might sound, I kind of find a little more credence in the story of like the Nephilim almost, just because I do tend to I like leaning towards the idea of it being spiritually related. I don't want to use the term divine, but it's
Right.
how there's some sort of abomination almost of fallen
the
angels
celestial
trying to procreate with
travesty.
the physical entities that we are, and I mean, I again, not saying I believe in that, but I lean
Right.
towards that slightly.
So how
but
about
the-
okay now? So you believe in Bigfoot completely?
Absolutely. I mentioned that earlier.
Why is it that why can't there be 9 foot tall beings that have existed on this planet. Just as, I mean, if you believe in Bigfoot, I'm like, why the hell can't you believe in a 9 foot tall, you know?
Well, I'm not saying that I don't, but as far as,
you did say you believe it, but
there's,
so
that's
not a yay or nay cut and dry then.
There are, well, yeah, I have to say yay or nay because that's the point of terminal. So if I'm
Yeah,
forced
but
to
you're
choose,
turning it into you're turning into well, this is not quite so.
no, I'm not.
yay.
You're turning it. You're trying to twist my words. And
Okay.
that's not how it's working. But I was going to say something that
Yes.
kind of leans towards that argument as well of them existing because you mentioned it before. I mean, there have been reports, 1500s back in the day, people sailing the open seas, coming across islands that were allegedly filled with giant beings,
Exactly.
with humans,
Yeah.
There's artistic renderings of these encounters, and
Mm-hmm.
who's to say? I totally believe in that. There's, Mike, the reason why the Komodo dragon became gigantic? Because it's isolated on that
Right.
island. There's
Exactly,
nothing there to
yeah.
prevent it becoming huge. So why, who's to say that couldn't have happened with humans who are, isolated on an island for eons after eons after eons? Who's to say that they don't grow to enormous sizes?
Absolutely. We as humans are animals on this planet, just like every other animals that have evolved or changed or over all that time. I mean, why can't it happen to humans like it does the Komodo dragon, say, or whatever? So yeah,
So as unfortunately, as hard as it is for me to say it, I have to say nay, but
right.
I'm not saying it's impossible, okay? I've spent the portions that we've talked about this topic basically supporting the idea of it being a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't say that I firmly believe that it has happened. That's all
Right.
I'm saying. How about you? I can't wait to hear this.
Well, like I said, so many of these photographs are probably fake, but to me, I'll big surprise. I'm going to say yay, because I do believe that these could have just been beings that lived on this planet. I mean, why can't over a period of like eons or centuries or whatever, many centuries, a race of beings starts, however, ends in a very short amount of time because of maybe their size was too much for the area or for survival or whatever.
Maybe something catastrophic happened.
A catastrophic, yeah. I mean, if there weren't skeletons that were supposed to have been found so recently, I would have said maybe they went out with the dinosaurs, but obviously they were around. If they existed, they were around way after that. So, yeah, I think a surviving species of hominid, or however you want to put it.
Okay, so you definitely say yay as a possibility. That you say, not even possibility, you say yes.
I do say yes in my,
Okay. But Mike, again,
uneducated mind.
come on now. We've spent a good portion of this podcast talking about the possibilities of them being real. And we're talking about a race of giants here, not just not the oddity here and there, not like a
Right.
Robert Wadlow of the day. We're talking about a race of these beings. So Mike says yay. I unfortunately say nay. But damn, I almost talked myself getting wee bit closer to a yay. But I can't.
Yeah, well, it
Can't.
felt closer than it has on
Can't do it.
many of the
But
previous.
I wonder if the listeners out there are just shaking their heads at me.
Oh yeah, that happens. I
Think
mean,
so?
it happens to both of us, I'm sure.
I think everyone likes you a lot more than they like
I
me.
come out with a penis joke, and boy, I bet the heads are just shaking right there.
Well, you got scolded for that. So I
I did, and yeah, that's right. He wasn't even a Pedro.
No, yeah, exactly. They're friends of the podcast.
I know, the great guy.
So
yeah.
it's
So I don't blame him.
so just keep that immature humor in check, Mike.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know. I
I'm kidding.
gotta have more thoughts for everybody. Hey, we might have children and infants listening to the show, so we really should be careful.
Well, I do mark all of these as explicit. They are
Yeah,
all
just
listed
kidding
as
anyway.
explicit. So, and God, I would be horrified to think of people putting headphones on their infants to listen to us. Oh
No,
my
they do it
God.
themselves. Kids nowadays, crazy how they develop so quick.
Mike, you know what? Before you knew it, man, we got up to a good length episode here. This has been great. Terminal is quick to the point. We state those essentials of the story and give our final yay or nay, and this one has been no exception. It's been good.
Yes, before you know it, and I did have a little inkling of knowing it before that, so
Yeah, I
I
guess
knew
so.
it. I knowing it, and then I did it, and I'm doing. It's a new word.
Okay, we need to stop. Mike, I don't know what he's going on and on about right now. All
Uh,
right, thank you very
It's the
much.
same thing as tooken or botten,
I'm
which
not
is
listening.
a word.
I'm not listening. And neither are our listeners.
Okay.
Whom we love with all of our hearts. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This has been Terminal,
Absolutely.
but you knew that already. Again, spread the Paranormally Zone word. We'd love to see you over at the Paranormally Zone Patreon page. Mike, until next time, my friend, what do our awesome friends of the podcast need to do?
Everybody, peace out.